Welcome back to Solo Adventures. My name is Livy, and I'm here yet again with another BGG Solitaire PnP game review. So today the game we're going to be taking a look at is Waah, Oomanz, a deck builder about being a lone orc battling zombies. So as usual, if you're not interested in watching me play this game, you can feel free to skip to the end. Otherwise, let's venture forth. So when we start the game, we have 12 cards in our deck. So we have all of the go fasts, do stuff, and hit things. So that's a total of 12 cards from our deck of actions. We will be able to get these later, but for now this is what we start with. So we shuffle them up. And this is our first draw pile. We set the distance marker at 0 and oomph at 8. And then put the marker on the starting space for each of draft actions and doing things. Check. So this game has a lot of kind of colorful terms for things. For example, oomph in this game is hit points, and draft is apparently the orc word for enemy. Okay, so I think the best way to teach you how to play this game is to just start. So we can see here on the distance track that we begin with 2 zombos, and we put them on the far right. So now we're going to draw 4 cards from our draw deck, and we can do any or all of these actions if we like. So I have 2 go fasts and 2 hit things. So go fasts will let me move up to 2 spaces, and hit things will help me fight. So on these cards there are these little boost icons. So this one basically shows a little boost and a green. So if I was to also spend this card along with this one and not take the benefit of this card, I would be able to get this effect. So I could spend this card along with this card to move a total of 3 spaces on this card. So the object of the game is to advance as far as possible in terms of distance. As soon as we cross the advance a distance line here, then we get to add a new card to our discard pile. And these zombies are going to push us back if they basically collide with us. And so getting stuck over here isn't so nice. So we're going to try to move as quickly to the right as we can. I don't know if that's really the optimal strategy, but it seems to be working the best for me. So I'm going to move 4 spaces and then move an additional 2 spaces because I can boost with each of these. So 6 spaces. So we have advanced a distance, which means that now we take the right track and we scoot it over to the left. And then we advance the distance tracker, so now it's on 1, and this shows which enemies now spawn. So we have 2 more zombos that come out. Now the zombos get to take an action, so we roll the die and we move the specified number of spaces, so 5. It's on a move icon, so the zombos will move. And here on their card, next to the move icon, it says move 1 space, so all the zombos move 1 space. So now we can go again. So we can do stuff and hit things. So I want to attack this zombo, and in order to do that I'm going to need to spend 1 of these attack cards. I'm going to also have to make a Doing Things check, and to do that, we roll the d6 and then we add the number that we land on. And if we land on a fail, then we fail and we hurt ourselves. And if we land on a check mark, it's an automatic success. So let's see. I'm first going to fight with hit things. It says fight with 2 power, and if I have this little icon, I can add 1 power, so it's a total of 3. So I rolled a 1. That means 0. I can add 0 to this. I have a total power of 3, but the Zombo has a toughness of 4, so that's not gonna do it. I'm going to try to fight again. I can't combine these two, so I'm going to try to fight with 2 power this time. 6. And that would be 3 again, so not enough. And last one. Also not enough. And the enemy's turn. 2. So when it lands on the hand icon there, it means that we spawn whatever is indicated here. So in this case, we add another Zombo to the end of the line. And we draw the last 4 cards in our deck. 3 do stuffs and 1 go fast. So I'm just gonna try to fight, because otherwise if these guys advance, they're gonna push me back 1. Now, they can't push me off the map, but if I get pushed back this far, it's gonna be really hard to recover. So let's fight. And that was an automatic fail, so I do 1 damage to myself. And let's try again. 1 plus 2 is 3, so not enough. Finally. Okay, so I fight with 2 power and I have a Doing Things check of 3. So that means I have 5, which is enough to hit the Zombo, and he only has 1 hit point, so he's just dead. Again, I guess. And then I'm allowed to move up to 2 spaces with my final action. I can only move 1 because I'm not able to push the Zombos back with standard actions. So now that I'm going to have to reshuffle my deck and draw again, that means that the Zombos also get another turn. So they're basically going to get 2 turns in a row here. 1, so they advance. And the Zombo pushes me back. And they fight. So we see the little fight icon here. It says deals 2 oomph damage if next to the orc. So we're down to 5 hit points. Let's see what I can do. I have 3 hit things and 1 do stuff. So I'm going to fight with 1 power, or sorry, fight with 2 power, and then add an additional power. So that's 3. And that's an automatic success. So the Zombo is defeated. And then we can use this card to move 1 space. I don't have to spend every card, and if I don't spend it, I can just keep it in my hand until next turn. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Zombies go next. And another one spawns. Oh joy. I have 2 go fasts, 1 hit things, 1 do stuff. So I'm gonna move up to 2 spaces with my go fast. And I'm going to move again. So we advance a distance. And we are now on level 2, so we get 3 more zombos that spawn at the end of the row. But I do get to pick another card. So I think maybe I want something to help me do damage. So shoot's good, it's a ranged attack, and I only need to make a check of 2 to deal 1 damage to this green space, so 3 spaces away from me. So I think that's a good choice. And we can continue our turn, so we'll fight with 1 power and add 1 power, so fight with 3 power. So that's a total of 5. Good. Zombos move 2, and they have an attack action, but none of them are within range, so I am okay. 1, and then I have to shuffle, so zombos get to go again. Attack again, so I'm lucky, nothing happens. Three do stuffs and 1 go fast. So I'll spend my go fast. And let's fight with 2 power. And that's not enough. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, bingo. So that worked. And we can move 1 space or fight with 2 power. I don't want to do either. I'm just going to hang on to this. Zombos fight again, and I'm lucky. Two hit things and 2 do stuff. So we're gonna move 1 space and fight with 3 power. Automatic success. That's all I can do. Zombos move. Okay, there's my shoot. So I can move forward or backward in order to line up the shot. Well, I mean, I can't move forward right now because there's a zombo in the way, but theoretically, if I didn't have an obstacle, I could move forward or backward. So we can spend go fast to back up 2. And that means that we can use shoot. So we just need to succeed at a check of 2. One. No, oh, that was a fail. And I will just keep these cards. And now the zombos attack, but nobody's in range. Two hit things, 1 do stuff, 1 go fast. So we're gonna go fast. We're gonna hit things and add a do stuff, so we attack with +3. And that's enough. I'll just stay here. Zombos attack, no one's in range. Draw, I have to shuffle, so zombos get another action. Another one spawns. 3 do stuffs and 1 hit things. So we can move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Which is what I will do, because then we can advance a distance. And now we spawn 3 zombos. But we get another new card. And we're going to have to do something about our health, so let's see if we can heal something. Fungus Spear. If I play this, I can recover 1 oomph, and if I boost with 2 purples, 2 greens, or a purple and a green, then I can recover an additional oomph. Zombos advance, but they cannot. At least these ones can't because they are piled up on him. Go fast, do stuff, hit things. So we're gonna do stuff and fight with 3 power. 4, so that's enough. We'll go fast. Zombos attack? Nope. Hit things, do stuff. So let's hit things and do stuff so we can attack with 3. So that's 4. And we will move again. Zombos attack, and that does 2 damage to me. I'm down to 3 hit points. Oh no. I should be more careful. So I'm going to use Go Fast to back up 2 spaces. And I'm going to try to shoot. Zero, so that was a fail. I guess I should have tried to hit things before I moved back. Okay. Zombos attack. Have to shuffle up so they can go again. And they move. Three do stuffs and 1 hit things. So I'm gonna do stuff and fight with 3 power. 4, so that's enough. Zombos move. Oh, Fungus Spear. So I'm going to spend this and this together so I can recover a total of 2 hit points. And we will fight with 3 power. There we go. Zombos move. to go fast to do stuffs. We'll move. And let's try to fight. Success. I'm not going to push my luck and get too close to this guy, because if he rolls attack, then of course I'm going to take damage. Aha, yep, they rolled attack. I'm going to shoot this Zombo. And I failed and hurt myself. At any time, I'm also allowed to discard 2 cards to draw 1, so that's what I'm going to do. Do stuff and hit things. I'm just going to wait here. And since I'm going to have to shuffle up next turn, then I'll just let the Zombos take their 2 turns. Another one spawns. Oh, actually, no, it's not just a Zombo. As you can see here, this is a different Zombo because we're on distance 3. So that is an Ard Zombo. And these guys have 2 hit points, and they deal 3 damage instead of 2. Attack? Nope. 3 do stuffs and 1 hit things. So we'll do stuff. And we will attack with 3 power. And just hang out here, I guess. Zombos advance. Fungus Spear, very good. So I'm going to recover 2 hit points with these. And I'm going to move 1 space back. Zombos advance. Let's try to fight with 2. 2 into it is 4. And we'll move 2 spaces. And move another 2 spaces. Cool. So we advance a distance. And we spawn a Zombo and an Ard Zombo. Oh, what card do we want? Let's get a lucky. This will allow us to re-roll a check if we fail one. Zombos move. And attack with 3. Ooh, this is the Ard zombie, so let's see. So that was a success. It does only 1 damage though, and he has 2 hit points, so we put a little damage marker here. I'm gonna try to fight with 2 power again, hopefully take him out. And that was 5, so we succeed. Attack. Draw. And then we have to shuffle. So zombos can go again. And they summon another one. So let's move 2 spaces. And let's discard these 2 cards to draw 1 more. Do stuff, and we will move 1 space. Zombos advance. So we're gonna move fast, or go fast, and we advance another distance. So now we're at level 5. And we spawn 2 zombos and an Ard zombo. And the skill I think I want is shove. So it will let me push the enemies back 1 space, and it will push all of the enemies back, actually. So in any case, I think you have a good idea of how this game works. We just continue like this, and the enemies continue getting more and more difficult. Some of these are faster, some of these are tougher. For example, the Quicko can move 3 spaces when it moves. The Zomtank has 3 hit points. And the toughest enemy is the Commanda, which has a toughness of 5 and has 4 hit points. So what are my thoughts on this game? Let's talk about it. So that was Waah Oomanz. I know I'm probably not saying this correctly. I think that the proper way is in kind of like a British Cockney sort of dialect. That's what a lot of the cards and the manual appear to be written in. The orcs seem to definitely have kind of a British flavor to them for some reason. But in any case, Waah Oomanz is the biggest surprise that I've had from this contest yet. Confession time. When I saw this game enter the contest, I was not excited to try it. It was a late entry, and the name didn't really grab me, and the art style just kind of looked plain, and I thought, oh no, this is just going to be another game that I'm just going to have to get through. I fully expected to hate this game, to be honest with you. I did not like the title, I didn't like the general look of this game, I didn't like how the board and all of its components are really washed out and pastel. So in general, though I of course always try to keep an open mind, I was not anticipating to have really any fun with this game. Much to my surprise, I did have fun with this game. And in fact, I had a good amount of fun with this game. Getting past appearances, getting past the name of this game. When you get down to it, this is a little game that has some pretty cool ideas, and ones I haven't seen before. For example, the advancing along the path, and when you get far enough, you just take the other side of the path and scoot it over behind you. And the fact that every time you advance a distance, a new wave of enemies comes out. Just like a tower defense game, you can anticipate the kind of enemies that you're going to be seeing in the future. Is this game perfect? No, I do have several points of criticism for it. But I just want to start off by saying that my expectations were not high for this, and they have been well exceeded. So what do I like about this game? First off, I enjoy that it's a deck builder. I just like deck builders. I know that there's been a couple of them in the contest this year, but this one is good. I really like the balance of different abilities that you can use. I also really like that you can boost certain of your cards or your skills by spending other cards that have little colored icons on them. I also think it's kind of an interesting take on your sort of standard tower defense sort of game, where I'm not only trying to defend myself, I'm trying to advance as far as possible. So I'm not going to just try to sit there and hold my ground. I'm always going to be trying to push forward. Because if you get backed into a corner by too many enemies, it's really hard to recover from that. And you can seriously just get trapped. You see all of the cards that you can purchase right away from the beginning of the game, and so you can know exactly what your plan is going to be. So the next time that you cross that little finishing line, you can know exactly which cards there are available for you, and you can already have a good idea of what you want your strategy to evolve into. I like that some of the abilities are ranged, some of them allow you to push enemies back, some of them allow you to recover health. I feel like there's a good mix in here to help you customize the kind of deck that you want to build. There are not that many cards in the deck, however, compared to how many levels there are. I think if I'm not wrong, there are 25 cards that you can get after your initial starting deck. So if you were to make it all the way to the 20th level, you're probably going to have most of the cards in the deck, and at that point a lot of late stage decks are going to be similar. That's not really much of a complaint though, because I think that this game is very difficult. I have never managed to get past the 10th level, and in fact I'm not entirely sure if the real point of this game is to get to the 20th level. I think that really what it wants to be is a beat your own high score kind of game, which is perfectly fine. Something that I like about this game is also its kind of weird personality. Now, I didn't like it at first, and you can see it in the title, Waah, Oomanz. Everything is written from the perspective of orcs, and orcs speaking in some kind of a heavy British dialect. And at first, I didn't really like it, but it slowly started to grow on me. It might be a little bit weird, but I think that it's much better than being generic. It's a bit odd that the orcs refer to enemies as draff, and they're given a lore reason why. So I think it's kind of weird and kind of cool that this game seems to have a world that it's set in, or it has its own lore. It has its own rules, basically. The orcs in this world can use grenades and rockets and various explosives, so it's probably not your typical fantasy sort of world, but I'm not really sure what kind of world it is. One nitpick that I have is that your enemies are zombies. Now, zombies are probably the most done-to-death enemy that there has ever been and ever will be. It's not something I strictly hate, but I would have liked if there was something a little bit more creative put into this. Just something. Zombies just seem very boring when you think of all of the mythical, magical creatures and monsters that there could be. The name of this game is Waah Oomanz, but really it should be more like Waah Zombies, because there are no normal human enemies that you fight in this game. So yeah, at its core, I like its gameplay, I like its whole basic mechanics, I like the flow of the game, and its quirky personality did start to grow on me. However, I do have some rather heavy points of criticism. And the first thing that I'm going to point out is I hate the wheel system. I despise the need to roll and move around these rings. I find it so tedious and just generally annoying. And honestly, I don't think there's really any need for that. The ring around the outside is 12 spaces, so you could use a 12-sided die, and the ring on the inside is 8 spaces, so you could use an 8-sided die. I would much rather go through the trouble of making custom dice for this game than having to move my little pawn around and around the rings. I mean, I do appreciate that the game tries to do something different, but I think there's a good reason why other games don't use this kind of mechanic, and that's because simply rolling for your results is just faster. Another thing that I don't really like is that this game feels a bit too hard, a bit too aggressive. Now, I do like my solo games difficult, but I feel like the flow of this game is not helped by its just very abrupt difficulty spikes. I feel like most players aren't going to get far enough in the game to actually see all of the different enemies. Most of us are going to die on just the normal and the art zombos. These zombies hit like a truck, and when you start losing health, it's really hard to start restoring it. As far as I can tell, I think there's maybe only one, maybe two cards that help you restore health, and it's just not quite enough. I like that the game is difficult in general, but I think that it needs some balancing in order to make it much more fun. Another thing that I really, really do not like about this game is its art style and its visual design. Now, I have no idea why the designer decided to go with this whole pastel washed out color scheme, but it's really not doing this game any favors. The text is really difficult to read in some places, and it really shouldn't be. Putting the text in kind of a washed out gray sort of color to me just really doesn't make any sense. I have pretty good eyesight, but I find myself really squinting and almost feeling like the cards are blurry, and that's not so nice. I think that the pastel look in general doesn't really fit a game about orcs and zombies. I mean, it is of course just personal preference, but I think at the very least the cards do need to be made a bit clearer, the text needs to be a bit bigger, and everything needs to be a lot more legible. So I know my criticism maybe sounds a little bit harsh, but honestly the reason why I'm being a little tough on this game is because I feel like there is so much potential here. I feel like this is a game that I could love. It just needs some work. It needs some testing, it needs some balancing, it maybe needs more in different cards. But if Waah Oomanz ever came to Kickstarter in its deluxe version, I know that I would be first in line to buy it. That is how much I believe in this game. I think that the deck building aspects married with the sort of tower defense sort of thing is brilliant, and I would really love to see that pushed farther. I mean, how cool would it be if this game borrowed even more elements from tower defense? Like you can set traps that do a certain number of points of damage to your enemies when they pass over them, or towers that can injure them, or even if the orc has a chance to use some magic, but since he's an orc, the check needs to be really high in order to succeed. I think that there's a lot of possibility here, and I think that the basic idea behind this is so fun. I could see this being a game that I would come back to many, many times, just trying to beat my high score. And the expansions for this game could be crazy. It could be completely off the wall. I mean, there could be different enemies, different weapons and armor maybe that you can equip, different characters even that you can be. Maybe you can be like a burlier orc, or you could be like a skinnier orc who's a bit faster, or... I just feel like the groundwork that is laid here is very, very good, and I think it would be a crying shame if this game wasn't developed farther. Now, I know that this game came out a little bit late in the contest, and I know that the name of this game and its whole art style might not be super inspiring to a lot of people, but I think you should try this game. It's not perfect, it's got problems, definitely it's got some balance issues, and the whole roll and move around the ring thing is quite irritating. But I think that a lot of people would actually have fun with this. Really, give it a try if it looks like it's fun. Thank you so much for watching! If you haven't already, then please subscribe, and if you would like to help support the channel, then you can check out my Patreon. You can also check out the Facebook group for all things solo gaming. Links are in the description. So until next time, friends, stay adventurous.